Well, it's not a victory week this week because I don't have my victory hat on, and unfortunately, I do not have my victory shirt on. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the latest and greatest edition of That 49ers Show. I am Brian Snow, your chief 49ers insider. And this past Sunday was a tough one. I'll use a phrase that my dad used a lot when I would talk a lot about my team and think they were invincible. He would call it I was selling a lot of wolf tickets. Well, he also told me don't let your mouth write a check that your butt can't cash. Now, I had to eat this one because the Cleveland Browns ate us up by a final of 19-17 with a great defensive plan. Oh boy. I mean, they hit us in the mouth, just like we hit them in the mouth. But the Niners are now 5-1 on the year with the Monday night game coming up in Minnesota. We'll get to that toward the tail end of the show. The Browns are now 3-2 on the year. And there's one word I can use to describe this game. And the one word I can use to describe this game from a 49er standpoint in many cases is undisciplined. It's been a long, long time, and I do mean it, a long time since I saw the 49ers play that discipline. I'm not here to blame the referees. I'm not here to blame anyone but us, because there were so many ways that we could have blown this team to smithereens, and it looked like they were going to do just that because they took the opening drive, marched right down the field, and stuck it in the end zone, which, by the way, marks the 6th straight game this year where the 49ers had gotten the opening score of the game. And what also happened during the course of this game is that Fred Warner picked off a pass from PJ Walker, but it led to Jake Moody missing a field goal from 46 yards. That kept the score 7-0. Eventually, the 49ers got up 10-0. But then the Browns answered back. Got to give them kudos. They answered back. And they eventually not only tied the score at 10, but they wound up taking a lead 13-10. But then another interception, this one by Deommodore Lenoir, set up Jordan Mason with a 17-yard touchdown, which gave the 49ers the lead 17-13. And you would have thought at that point, with the Niners having the lead in the fourth quarter, that they would be able to close things out. But again, give Cleveland credit. They came right back. They marched right down the field. Niners held them to a field goal, made it 17-16, and they could not hold the Browns in check. And that's the 49ers' fault because of undisciplined play. They got penalized 11 times in that game for 107 yards. And again, I go back to a point I made earlier. I have never, ever seen the 49ers play that undisciplined, because if there's one thing this franchise has been known for, it's disciplined play on the field. And I got to tell you something. I never saw it. I didn't see it after the first quarter because the Browns not only sped up the game, number one, number two, they basically took the 49ers away from what they wanted to do. Simple as that. They took the 49ers out of what they wanted to do. And that led to the 49ers losing by a final of 19-17. Now, despite all of that, Brock Purdy, who had a horrible game statistically, he faced a lot of pressure. He still put the 49ers in a position to win the game. Jake Moody just couldn't connect from 41 yards out. And both field goals from Jake Moody, he missed wide to the right. That said, that's all the bad news. The good news is, part of the good news is, Christian McCaffrey scores a touchdown in his 15th consecutive game, which continues to add to his record and continues to add to the record for the franchise. And the other piece of bad news I will add from this game is that Trent Williams got hurt, Deebo Samuel got hurt, Christian McCaffrey got hurt, Diamonor Lenore had to deal with cramps. And here is the key piece that the 49ers were missing on Sunday. His name is Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw did not start, didn't play at all on Sunday. And if you look back at that game, which I did, everywhere where Dre Greenlaw you thought he would be, he was not there because he didn't play. And that's where the Browns correctly attacked this 49er defense. Now, this 49er defense, I really feel, is going to put it together and really be one of – no, let me change my sentence. They will be the best defense in the NFL, rankings-wise, statistically, and everything else by the time this season is over and the Niners are making their way into the playoffs. That's our weekly wrap-up. The 49ers go down to a bunch of elves, and I can't believe I'm saying that aloud, but it did happen. The Cleveland Browns beat the 49ers by a final of 19-17. And as mentioned, the Niners are 5-1 on the year, still leading the NFC West by a game and a half over Seattle. And the Browns are now 3-2 on the year. And to give you a little preview as to my power rankings, which will come out tomorrow, the Browns and the 49ers are in it. You'll have to take a peek on the YouTube page to see where they are. We'll take a 2-minute timeout. We'll visit the Fanatics feedback zone, and then we'll have updates on the 49ers that were injured, a big Christian McCaffrey update, and then I got a few things to say to Shannon Sharpe, who said something about Brock Purdy. We'll do all of that in the next segment. This is That 49ers Show, and we're presented by Fanatics and BetUS.com. Back in a minute.
Yeah.
Attention sports fans, looking for the ultimate gear and apparel to show your team pride? Look no further than Fanatics, the #1 destination for sports enthusiasts. Visit snowmanmultimediasports.com today and shop a wide selection of officially licensed merchandise from your favorite teams and players. From jerseys to hats to accessories to collectibles, Fanatics has it all. Don't miss out on the chance to elevate your game day experience. Head over to snowmanmultimediasports.com/fanatics and gear up like a true fan with Fanatics. Officially licensed everything. Sports bettors, listen up. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back and in our 30th year of action. With live in-game betting, incredible odds with daily odds boosters, props and parlays, fast payouts, and exceptional one-to-one customer service, we got it all. And when you sign up today and use the code Snowman, you will get a 125% deposit match on your deposit. Log on to betus.com or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BET-US. BetUS.com, where the game begins.
I keep forgetting to push a button. Welcome back to this latest and greatest edition of That 49er Show. We're going to make this show even better because I believe beginning next week, we are going to have perspectives from the side of the opponents that we are playing. And this show will be stretched to a full hour. All right. We should be, can't talk tonight. That's what I get for doing this live. Um, we will be stretching this show to a full hour and keep you guys updated on any and everything. If you want more updates on the 49ers, you can log on to snowmanmultimediasports.com and you can pretty much comment. You can comment on everything 49ers, whether you follow them, whether you're a fan of them. And as the great Tom Grassi would say, you don't have to be a 49er fan, but it sure does help. Take a peek inside the Fanatics feedback zone. 49ers got beat by the Browns. What happened? We beat ourselves. The Browns beat us, and then we beat ourselves with all the penalties, 11 of them in all on Sunday. Victor Locke is in the house joining us from Chicago. Stephen Askins, hail to the Redskins. That's for you, my friend. Gerald Wisniewski joins us from Texas. He says, what's up? San Francisco should take their frustration out on Minnesota Monday night. And I mentioned the injuries. All should be a go on Monday. Get into that in just a moment. Are there any trades San Francisco is working on? I'm going to say yes, because there are a couple of free agents out there, both on the line, offensive or defensive line, that the 49ers are keying in on. Now, A, it's going to depend on the cap, and B, it's going to depend on their fit, because they already made one trade that was for Randy Gregory, who's going to fit in this defense very, very well. He's going to fit in this defense very well, and he's going to provide a spot for Javon Hargrave to breathe, for Nick Bosa to breathe, and to help the second line that will feature Javon Kinlaw in his third year out of South Carolina. Victor says, if anything, this past Sunday showed that the 49ers are human, no more, no less. And you're correct. It also shows that any given Sunday, anybody can be beaten. You know, that happened to the 49ers, also happened to the Philadelphia Eagles. More on that on Friday. Well, let me get to this. Kyle Shanahan recently stated during a press conference that Deebo Samuel would be considered questionable to play in Week 7. It's a Monday night game, of course, against the Minnesota Vikings. Deebo Samuel said, right now it's a little sore. Well, kind of a lot sore. So I'm actually kind of like day to day, close quote. That's from Deebo Samuel himself. He is questionable for now, as he is taking the injury a day at a time. The MRI still to come. We'll keep you updated on snowmanmultimediasports.com. The new 49er page will be up tomorrow. So take a peek at that, and I'll provide daily updates on any and everything 49ers. Christian McCaffrey suffered an oblique injury. Want to say it right. He suffered an oblique injury in the 49ers loss to the Browns. But the good news is McCaffrey avoided a major injury. And from all trends that I am getting, he should be able and ready to go come Monday night in Minnesota. And that is no cap, because that's the cap machine that I have developed. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Victor Locke, for that. Now let me get to this. I had a talk with a lot of people about what I'm about to present next. And Shannon Sharpe said some things that initially got on my nerve. The question was asked, is Brock Purdy an elite quarterback? Here are Shannon Sharpe's comments. This is courtesy of First Take. My initial response was out of anger. I had a chance to think about it. Then my executive producer, Cole Johnson, got in my head. My wife, Jody, got in my head. Victor Locke got in my head. And I attacked his statement. His comments are these.
Quarterback, or is it just the situation he's in?
No, he's not an elite quarterback. He's a product of the system. It's more credit to Kyle Shanahan and what he's done. He's not, in RC, you'll appreciate this. In the biblical term, the devil told God that Job, the reason why he serves you is because you give everything to him. He said if you remove that hedge from around him, he will curse his very maker.
He'll curse you.
He said you can take everything but his life. Took his kid, took his sheep, took all that. Job was still faithful.
Never cursed him.
I'm not so sure that if we remove Deebo, we remove Kyle Shanahan, we removed Ayuk, we would still see this Brock Purdy. He's a product of the system.
I'll stop there and I'll respond in kind. Shannon Sharpe, I love you dearly, okay? And some of your takes I can agree with. I don't agree with this one. For the simplest of reasons, you're not going to take Kyle Shanahan away from him. You're not going to take Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, George the Animal Kittle, Brandon Ayuk away from him because Brock Purdy wants to stay where he is. He wants to stay in Frisco. And it's going to take a couple of years, but the Niners made the smartest decisions when they re-signed George Kittle. They did that in 2020. When they re-signed Nick Bosa, did that recently. They made the trade for Christian McCaffrey, and Brock Purdy was thrust into a position where most quarterbacks fail because you had a team in the 49ers that were humming along just fine under Jimmy Garoppolo, and Garoppolo got injured, and everybody said, including my buddy Raw Dogs, and I'm teasing as I say this, that Brock Purdy is not going to succeed in this 49er system. Well, he just took his first loss, and that is not directed toward my buddy Raw Dogs, a.k.a. Bay. I love you dearly. He just took his first loss. And who's to say that it'll be a while, a.k.a. week 13, before he takes another one? Brock Purdy really didn't lose until the NFC Championship game in Philadelphia, where half his arm was torn off. I do not mean that literally. And isn't every quarterback a product of the system? John Elway, product of first Dan Reeves and then Mike Shanahan. We know what Joe Montana was able to do in that system. We know what Steve Young was able to do in that system. And again, let me mention Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan was the offensive coordinator for Steve Young. First it was Mike Holmgren, because Holmgren left in 1992 and Mike Shanahan came in. How fortunate is that? Okay. If it wasn't for the kicker, y'all would have won. And true. Okay, if it wasn't for the fact that the 49ers didn't get any points before the half and didn't get any extra points during the half, besides the field goal that Jake Moody did convert, we would have won that. We would have won that game. But in talking about Shannon Sharpe's comments, saying Brock Purdy is not elite, and I'll add a word, ... yet. It's a small sample size. I will give you that. I will grant that. It's a small sample size because Brock Purdy has yet to play a full season. Okay? A full season. And a full season now constitutes of 17 games. An injury prevented the 49ers from getting to the Super Bowl last year under a rookie quarterback who is still under a rookie contract. That's going to change. I say within a year's time, if not less, they're going to re-sign Brock Purdy. They're going to keep him in San Francisco long term. So Purdy will not have to worry about losing Ayuk, losing Deebo, who was re-signed, by the way, last year to an extension, 4-year extension. You know, and everything that is going on right now with San Francisco under Kyle Shanahan, the only thing that has stopped us has been injuries. You know, I have a very special friend. She, Lacey, her fiance, Dalton, and all their kids, including the twin boys, are watching right now. And Lacey and Dalton asked me, you know, how can we contribute to the show? Lacey and Dalton, if I trust that you're watching, I hope that answers your question, because anyone can support via the Cash App. The tag you need is $ Tallman Dr. K50. Now back to my comments on one Shannon Sharpe. You figure Purdy was going to get all of the heat anyway. And my buddy Bay chimes in with, I don't know why Purdy is getting the heat. His defense is monstrous. You saw how we were chasing him all over the field. And yet, which is true, that's nothing but true. And yet, we were still in a position to win. Jake Moody just couldn't bang home the winning kick from 41 yards. So Shannon Sharpe, to a point, I agree. He's not elite. And again, I add ... yet. And I say yet because we don't have a full season, which is 17 games, with Brock Purdy in tow. We're going to get a full season this year. We got 11 regular season starts with Brock Purdy in tow. All right. And that's going to gauge to a lot of people. It'll gauge where Purdy stands. I think the 49ers are going to be just fine, part one and part two. And as I declared at the tail end of last year, we found our franchise quarterback. That's as simple as that. We found our franchise quarterback in Brock Purdy. He's only 10-1 as an absolutely last pick, aka Mr. Irrelevant, aka, I believe, one of the best quarterbacks in the game right now. Now you're going to have people that'll rank him low, i.e. Stephen Ruiz, ranked him at 22, ranked him dead last in his quarterback rankings. And that's probably going to be an extra piece that I'm going to add right now. He's so mediocre that they gave up on Trey Lance. Ship Trey Lance out. We ship Trey Lance out. You know, Gerald Wisniewski, I hope I got that right, Gerald. I see the 49ers playing for the NFC Championship, and the team they will face will be the Philadelphia Eagles. And I will hold true to my prediction that the 49ers will host the NFC Championship game this year against the Philadelphia Eagles. It will take an act of God. It will take someone intercepting that pick for it to happen. And plus, we still have the trade deadline to deal with. We still have the trade deadline being right there. And there are a couple of moves that the 49ers can make, and I believe will make, that will get them over the hump and finally get the 49ers their 6th Super Bowl championship. Tom Brady and the Patriots won their 6th title. The first one to do it was the Pittsburgh Steelers. That, of course, was Super Bowl 40. And to answer your question, Bay, shoulder injury. What's wrong with Deebo? It's a shoulder injury, and he's day-to-day right now. and he will be day to day, and I suspect he will be a game time decision, but I think Deebo will give it a go on Monday night. So to a point, Shannon Sharpe, getting back on task here, you're correct. He's not elite, but I add a simple 3-letter word, yet. Yet being the very operative word, because who expected Brock Purdy to do everything that he is doing? Who the hell expected Brock Purdy to be this close to being competing with the elite quarterbacks? Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, who's fighting off injury himself. Just those three, I believe. Well, shucks. How can I forget Patrick Mahomes, who the 49ers will face in the Super Bowl in Las Vegas? I said that at the top of the year, and I still hold true to that. I still hold true to my prediction that it'll be Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes fighting for the I nearly said the wrong word. The Vince Lombardi Trophy. Because how can you go wrong with the way Brock Purdy is playing right now? I liken this to what Steve Young had to go through in the shadows of Joe Montana, who is the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Y'all will not see us again. Somebody's going to get to Cleveland before you get to a Super Bowl. All right. And I hate to say it after the great game that the Browns have played, but for the Browns to ascend to that spot, you'll have to go through Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. We're going to make Patty throw up for running for his life. Yeah, you'll have to catch him first. I mean, the Cleveland Browns still have to deal with losing that divisional playoff game that they had no business losing, that they were going to come all the way back and win. But staying on task here, I really believe that it'll be the 49ers and the Chiefs for the Vince Lombardi Trophy. It'll be round 2 between those two, and it'll be round 2 between the 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think the 49ers will get them this time. Take another 2-minute timeout, and when y'all get back, we'll take a look at the Vikings as they pick up a victory against the Chicago Bears. We'll lay down the numbers and get you ready for Monday Night Football, which I will have the call for, the alternative call for on Monday night in Minnesota. Back in a minute.
Attention sports fans, looking for the ultimate gear and apparel to show your team pride? Look no further than Fanatics, the #1 destination for sports enthusiasts. Visit snowmanmultimediasports.com today and shop a wide selection of officially licensed merchandise from your favorite teams and players. From jerseys to hats to accessories to collectibles, Fanatics has it all. Don't miss out on the chance to elevate your game day experience. Head over to snowmanmultimediasports.com/fanatics and gear up like a true fan with Fanatics. Officially licensed everything. you ready to upgrade your coffee game? Prepare for an invasion of flavor with Invader Coffee. It's the caffeinated elixir that fuels champions, the blend that pushes boundaries. Whether you're battling deadlines or exploring uncharted territories, Invader Coffee has your back. Join the invasion at invadercoffee.com and taste the difference for yourself. Use the code Snowman for 15% off your first order. Invader Coffee, veteran owned. Attention sports fans, looking for the ultimate gear and apparel to show your team pride? Look no further than Fanatics, the #1 destination for sports enthusiasts. Visit snowmanmultimediasports.com today and shop a wide selection of officially licensed merchandise from your favorite teams and players. From jerseys to hats to accessories to collectibles, Fanatics has it all. Don't miss out on the chance to elevate your game day experience. Head over to snowmanmultimediasports.com/fanatics and gear up like a true fan with Fanatics. Officially licensed everything. Are you ready to upgrade your coffee game? Prepare for an invasion of flavor with Invader Coffee. It's the caffeinated elixir that fuels champions, the blend that pushes boundaries. Whether you're battling deadlines or exploring uncharted territories, Invader Coffee has your back. Join the invasion at invadercoffee.com and taste the difference for yourself. Use the code Snowman for 15% off your first order. Invader Coffee, veteran owned. Attention sports fans, looking for the ultimate gear and apparel to show your team pride? Look no further than Fanatics, the #1 destination for sports enthusiasts. Visit snowmanmultimediasports.com today and shop a wide selection of officially licensed merchandise from your favorite teams and players. From jerseys to hats to accessories to collectibles, Fanatics has it all. Don't miss out on the chance to elevate your game day experience. Head over to snowmanmultimediasports.com/fanatics and gear up like a true fan with Fanatics. Officially licensed everything. Are you ready to upgrade your coffee game? Prepare for an invasion of flavor with Invader Coffee. It's the caffeinated elixir that fuels champions, the blend that pushes boundaries. Whether you're battling deadlines or exploring uncharted territories, Invader Coffee has your back. Join the invasion at invadercoffee.com and taste the difference for yourself. Use the code Snowman for 15% off your first order. Invader Coffee, veteran owned. Hey everybody, Snowman here. Looking for the best way to experience live events? Well, SeatGeek has you covered. With just a few taps on your phone, you can find the best seats for concerts, sports, theater, and more. Don't miss out on unforgettable moments. Download the SeatGeek app today and get ready for an experience like no other. Each ticket is vetted for authenticity and ranked on a 1 to 10 scale. And right now, if you sign up and use the code Snowman, you will get $20 off of your first purchase. That's only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan. Are you ready to upgrade your coffee game? Prepare for an invasion of flavor with Invader Coffee. It's the caffeinated elixir that fuels champions, the blend that pushes boundaries. Whether you're battling deadlines or exploring uncharted territories, Invader Coffee has your back. Join the invasion at invadercoffee.com and
Hey, don't go away. That 49ers show will be back in 2 minutes.
Hey everybody, Snowman here. Looking for the best way to experience live events? Well, SeatGeek has you covered. With just a few taps on your phone, you can find the best seats for concerts, sports, theater, and more. Don't miss out on unforgettable moments. Download the SeatGeek app today and get ready for an experience like no other. Each ticket is vetted for authenticity and ranked on a 1 to 10 scale. And right now, if you sign up and use the code Snowman, you will get $20 off of your first purchase. That's only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan. Are you ready to upgrade your coffee game? Prepare for an invasion of flavor with Invader Coffee. It's the caffeinated elixir that fuels champions, the blend that pushes boundaries. Whether you're battling deadlines or exploring uncharted territories, Invader Coffee has your back. Join the invasion at invadercoffee.com and taste the difference for yourself. Use the code Snowman for 15% off your first order. Invader Coffee, veteran owned.
Well, welcome back to an extended version of that 49ers show. I apologize for the extended break. Had a medical situation happen. So my beautiful wife Jody once again rode to the rescue. My sugar crashed. So I had her get me something sweet to drink, and that has helped. My numbers are trending back up, and wanted to make sure y'all know I am a diabetic, and while I do these shows, sometimes my sugar does have a tendency to crash. That is what happened. That's why the break was extended. And I appreciate Jody. I appreciate my daughter Sonia, and appreciate my baby girl Cheyenne, my baby boy Dakota, all of them for checking on me. And I really, really appreciate that. Had to get my wife's attention that my sugar had crashed. So she comes flying in with this little glass that had Kool-Aid in it. And I want to say, Jody, baby, I love you. And I appreciate you. And Sonia, honey, I appreciate you for just standing by and making sure all is well with old Snowman, because, you know, I will do the same for y'all. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. Now, let's take a look at the Minnesota Vikings, 2-4 coming into this one on Monday night, which I anticipate their record dropping to 2-5. But special teams coordinator Matt Daniels addressed the media from the TCO Performance Center and talked about Nwangu's return to the lineup and a slugfest coming up against San Francisco.
Get out a gritty, dirty win at the end of the day, and you know, it's good to find a way to win on the road, and most importantly, cap off a good win versus a division opponent, to where now we sit 1-0 division. You know, was trying to find ways to start stacking some dubs here to see how we can find a way to get to 3-4. You know, it's always about going 1-0 this week, and we got a tough opponent coming to town in San Francisco. You know, guys are excited about the opportunity, and you know, we're looking forward to it. It's a great group, physical group. You know, really matches our style of play on who we are and how we identify ourselves. And so it's going to be a slugfest, and we're looking forward to it.
That was Matt Daniels addressing the media from the TCO Performance Center on Wednesday, talking about the slugfest that's coming up against the 49ers. Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator, breaks down the big day in Chicago, and also talks about the physical challenge that the 49ers will present on Monday night at US Bank Stadium.
He's a extremely hard worker. Football's important to him. He's very smart, has learned multiple positions, does a good job setting the edge, does a lot of things that help his teammates. So he's been, you know, kind of the unsung hero in a lot of plays this year. And in some instances, he's been the one who's made the play. You know, he's done a great job, but, you know, that entire room's, you know, played solid for us. Pat Jones is in this category of making a play without making a play, whether he's taking on a block or I'm just thinking about one play in the Bears game. It was a 3rd down and, you know, they snuck a run in there, and, you know, Pat was the one who, you know, knocked the guard back and, you know, got an arm in there for a big 3rd down stop. And then obviously Daniil's played very well as well. So just collectively as a group and as a whole defense, you know, losing Marcus is a big loss, but we'll need to just collectively pick up the slack in all areas, players, coaches. But obviously it'll be the guys in that room to, you know.
Brian Flores talking about the big win in Chicago. And as mentioned, he also speaks on the physical challenge that the 49ers will bring on Monday night.
And, we'd kind of seen that over, the course of, let's call it 2-3 weeks. And Mekhi had been playing well too. But we just felt like, hey, let's give Andrew an opportunity. And I thought he did a nice job with his snaps throughout the game, made some good tackles. Coverage was competitive. He was right. So just from a capacity standpoint, he understands the game almost to a coach's level. Whether it's, coverage concept, run game, adjustments and fronts.
Brian Flores offering his comments from the win in Chicago last Sunday. They're 2-4, as mentioned, coming in. They started out, the Vikings did, with a loss at home against Tampa Bay. Then they lost on Thursday night, September the 14th, 34-28 against Philadelphia. And then they lost a tough one at home against the Chargers. 28-24 was the final there. They go to Carolina, pick up the win 21-13 on October 1st. A week later, they lost by 7 to Kansas City. That was at US Bank Stadium as well, 27-20. And then this past one on Sunday against the Chicago Bears, they win that game 19-13. And it brings us to this one on Monday night as the 49ers come to town to face the Minnesota Vikings. For those of you in Minnesota, of course, the great Paul Allen, the legendary Paul Allen, will voice the call on the KFAN Vikings Radio Network. And for those of you that are faithful to the Bay, like I, Greg Papa will have the call on KNBR for the San Francisco 49ers. The Vikings were in a slugfest against the Chicago Bears, but they came out with the win, 19-13. The biggest play of that game, besides Justin Fields being knocked out with an injury, was a scoop and score for the Minnesota Vikings, and that got them from a 12-6 lead to a 19-6, from a 12-6 lead to a 19-6 lead. That DJ Wanham with a scoop and score before the end. That came before the excuse me, I'm pulling up the wrong highlights here. I'm sorry, I didn't plan this better. I will I will change that. I promise. But they had a scoop and score to close out, to help aid in their game. That final was 19-13. Let's take a look at the spread brought to you by US Bank. BetUS.com. I'm so sorry. I'm so crossed up right now. And probably what I'm going to do in the future is get the parts of the game that I want taped in advance and then work them into the show. And again, that extended break that I took because my sugar crash has thrown me all off, but I am here for you guys. I am going to take this to its finish, and let's wrap things up, and let's take a look at the predictions, the picks, and the odds for this game. And the 49ers getting a full touchdown, full 7 points. Over under is 44 in this game. And after losing to the Cleveland Browns, I expect the 49ers, A, to be healthy, and B, to come into US Bank Stadium and just maul the Minnesota Vikings. So I will give you one of my picks early. Take the 49ers and lay the points. And I'm going to take the under in this game. I don't expect Kirk Two Chainz Cousins to do much against this 49er defense. Last time these two teams played was 2 years ago in Santa Clara, and the 49ers won that game by a final of 34-26. I expect that kind of game, which is why I'm taking the under It's going to be a slugfest, but I expect the 49ers to come out on top, and I'm going to lay all the points. And I'm going to wrap this up right here. Thank you all for tuning in to this edition of That 49ers Show. I promise I will make the show better as we go forward. God bless you. We'll see you in 7 days' time. So long, everybody.